What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scevoli Tonight Show. There we go. That's the effort I like. That's the effort we need. Rock and roll, motherfuckers.
Yeah, right.
Rock and roll.
Let's do this.
But welcome back, guys. We have a very special guest on the Scevoli Tonight Show. He is Fulcrum Force. But what kind of force is he given? What kind of force is he given? Do we know?
The best.
The best. There you go. That's the effort. And I like his t-shirt. He's got Fulcrum. I have Ahsoka on my shirt. You know, we're ready to go. We're
ready. We're ready.
We're going to ask Jim all kinds of Star Wars questions on the show. We could play games, but probably not. I don't like playing games, but you never know what comes out of my mouth. I don't know.
We move. We go. We're just rolling with it. See what happens.
It is. It's like rolling on a river. Rolling on a river.
For sure.
But before we start the Scevoli Tonight Show, please subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Show, for more shows. You know, you guys showed so much love. There's so many people coming on this show that I don't even have fingers to count on. My messages are like, I got to go back in them and go, when is that date? When is this guy's date?
I feel very privileged to be able to be on, to be fair. I'm like, hey, you managed to squeeze me in there. I'm happy to be here.
I know, and we have jobs, we have our full life out of here. So it's like, where do I fit in? What time?
Yeah.
Because you're all the way in the UK, and I'm like, Jim, I need Jim. And then when you texted me, I was like, oh, it was like Jesus opening the
Sure, I'll go with that. Star Wars Jesus. I'm all right with that. Yeah,
Star Wars Jesus. You know, just Obi-Wan opened the Force to us, and now here we are on the show. And I'm so happy you are here, Jim.
Oh, I'm really pleased to be here. I'm looking forward to this. This should be fun.
It is. This is a fun time. This is a fun time to be a Star Wars fan. Yeah. Not like what we see on the internet. Not what we see out there.
No.
But Jim, my first question to you is your YouTube channel, your page on Instagram, your Star Wars love. Where did all this come from? When did you start your Star Wars journey? Did it start young or it started recently?
Very young. So I'm as old as time itself at this point. And so I was 5 years of age when Return of the Jedi came out. So so
I gotta do the math. When you're talking, I'll do the math.
Yeah. I was born in the late 70s. Let's just leave it there, all right? But when Return of the Jedi came out over here in the UK, they did a triple bill of A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. And my dad took me, a little 5-year-old me, to watch each of them back to back. First time I'd ever been to the cinema. I was 5, and we sat there for 9 hours and watched every single film because I'd not seen them before. And so it was I was just glued to the screen, and it just became my life from there on out. So 40 years at this point. So
oh wow. So your father just dragged you. He was like, let's go, Jimmy, we're going to the movie.
Pretty much. He was just like, well, what can I do with this kid? Let's take him to the cinema for an entire day. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. And I went through the drought of not having films or anything for such a long time. And then obviously the prequels came along, and I have to be honest, back then I was the vocal people that were like, oh, I don't like this, blah, 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 blah. Then as time went on and I realized that I was being full of myself, and if I really just sat back and watched them again, they're pretty decent. I mean, I'm no massive fan of Attack of the Clones, but Revenge of the Sith is an absolute banger. So I think as you get older as well, you kind of appreciate things in a different way. And then that kind of, the minute that my brain switched to that, it kind of just opened up sort of everything again. And I was like, I love everything about this. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel just dedicated to Star Wars because I love it. It dominates my life, as you can see. So why not share that with everybody? Yeah.
And that's I think that's how everybody starts. Let's see because we're all different I feel like everybody's different from everybody, from doing YouTube. I'm different from you, you're different from me, that one's different from that one. And I feel like with the Star Wars content and the Star Wars creators is that it's we're not copying you. We're not copying you. We're not asking the same questions as you either. We're not sitting there reading your interview with Jim and, all right, Jim, what did that guy ask you? What did she ask you? We're not doing that. I think what people often mistake YouTube, like, it's not like I got mistaken for. Like people came for me, I copied someone. How did I copy you? There's no. I didn't ask. Did I ask similar questions? Absolutely. But did I say word for word what you said? Absolutely not. And I know you do like lightsabers unboxings and stuff like that.
I do.
And I don't know. Are those ring lights in the back? The two blue lights? Are they lightsabers?
What, these big lights going up? They're
lights.
just
Okay.
they're just lights going up to
like,
highlight.
So cool.
Just to highlight. I mean, you can't see it, but my lightsabers go literally all the way to the ceiling. So, yeah. I've got a problem for sure.
What's your problem?
But yeah, I agree. Like, I can review a lightsaber, and it can be the same lightsaber as somebody else reviews, but the reviews will be completely different. It's not like we're doing the same thing. Like, I will take things from it, and I will look at certain things. Somebody else will look at something different. You know, I actually think that's a good thing, because then we get lots of different people's opinions on stuff. If you know, if only one person's doing the same thing and nobody else is doing it, then you just get one view of it, and I don't think that's right. So, like, you know, you and I sitting here chatting, like, I may have been on another show and they've asked me, like, how did Star Wars start for you? And I will have answered very similarly. Doesn't mean to say you're copying it. It's a standard question that you would ask most people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, how did you get into Star Wars?
Going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, and I just think that overall, you know, we all bring something different to it, even though we sit in this sort of relatively small realm of like talking about the same things. Everybody brings something different to it, and I think that's a really nice thing. We know that the internet's not always the best, but you know, I do like to see sort of people's different opinions, as long as it's respectful.
Yeah, like I understand, like you, like a lot of people, like, because I said I have a Captain Rex, because Captain Rex is my favorite clone. I had so I unboxed him. It was a Premier Collection item from Gentle Giant, and I unboxed it, and I kept saying slideshow by accident, because, you know, at the time you're filming a video, and it's like, you know what, I'm not get over, you know, but like, so someone was like, oh, you said slideshow in that. I said, okay, I made a mistake, but you know what I was saying. It's on the box. I'm showing you the box, and I'm saying Gentle Giant in the video. Oh, but you said slideshow. And they kept, like, it was a whole argument on it. And I'm like, why? Who cares of what?
Well, why does it matter?
Like, why does it matter to you? And I said to them, I said, you're probably a subscriber. You're probably watching my videos every time I release them, or not even a subscriber. You're just like one of those people that just come on the show and just like write your nasty comments. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you. Like, I really give up. And then another one chimed in and said the same thing. I was like, what are you, best friends or something? What are you people, best friends?
I get it sometimes because I'm old school and I still call them AT-ATs, not AT-ATs. For me, it's always been an AT-AT. Like, from the time I was tiny, it's an AT-AT. And it's Boba Fett, not Boba Fett. So I just say Boba Fett, and people are like, no, it's actually Boba Fett. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We know who we're talking about.
Yeah. Like, I have trouble saying, like, all the planets' names. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, I cannot say half of the planets. And people, like, hate on you for that. And I'm like, could you say it? I want you to spell it, because I don't think you know how to spell it.
Yeah.
Like,
you spell Kashyyyk.
Yeah, I don't even know how to spell that.
It's got a lot of Y's in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. They'll just be putting Y, 2 Y's, 4.
Just keep going.
Like, I'm like, you people don't have to, like, hate on everything. Like,
no.
We're all different from each other. You know, I'm sitting on my bed doing unboxing videos. You know, you're in your room or your Star Wars room. Like, I don't have a Star Wars room. I have a bedroom with Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, you want to see my bed. You want to see my room. That's my room. Like, that's all you're gonna get out of it.
I think that's another thing is people do get caught up with, like, okay, fair enough. I've got a pretty nice setup. I've literally just moved house. Like, if anybody's seen me before, I've had a very different place before with a different setup. So I've literally just put all my lightsabers up behind me. But before, I've had Lego behind me, or in my early videos, I'm sat on the side of a bed, and it's just like, well, that's what I had at the time. Yeah. And you know what? It's not about like, I've spent some time to do this because I like to, and I genuinely, like, this is my desk. This is where I sit and work. So like, that's my view. Like, so that's actually, for me, it just so happens that it's a great YouTube background, you know? Yeah. But I think a lot of people get really fixated on that and like, oh, how is this looking? It doesn't look professional. And it's just like, we're not professionals.
Yeah.
This is YouTube. Let's dial the expectations back a bit, not worry about the presentation so much, and listen to the content.
Yeah.
The content is good. That's all that matters.
Like, out of this conversation, when this interview is released, people are just going to look at it like, oh, Jim has a red shirt, Scevoli Tano has a white shirt, and why are they wearing different colors? Like, they should be matching, you know? Like, they're just, and that's okay. At least they're talking about us, you know?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
But anyway, Jim, let's get back to the realness. So you have a lot of lightsabers up there, I see.
I do.
Which one is your favorite? I know, and you can pick 3 because there's a lot up there.
Cute.
Is there any one of them that are like meaningful to you? Because I know like the Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars lightsabers from season 7 are like so meaningful to me. Like, I don't know why she dropped them in snow. No. I just want them.
So I've got those 2 just there. Those are her Clone Wars ones, and then I've got her Rebels ones just next to it because this is the picture of her walking away from the Jedi Temple, signed by Ashley Eckstein.
Ashley.
But for me, my favorite lightsabers are this one. This is a special. It's Luke's. Luke's will always be my favorite lightsaber. Luke's my favorite character. So his lightsaber is first and foremost. Also, my partner bought me this as a birthday present. It's got the whole crystal reveal thing going on. It's a very high-end lightsaber, so it's a very special one for me. But then I've got to throw in Kanan's, because
I love Kanan.
So my 3 top characters are Luke, Kanan, and Ahsoka. They're like they're my top 3. So I'm like, Kanan's have to be in there, and that's a beautiful saber. And then probably as a third, it's got to be this one, because this one's actually custom made from my own personal design. I designed this, and it was custom made. So yeah, so it's got a bit of Luke in there. It's got a little bit of Kanan in there. It's got a bit of everything going on in there. Everything that I like. So yeah, that's a big deal for me as well. So those 3, I think, are probably my favorites.
Now, can you put the hilts in those?
Yeah, you put blades in them. All of these work. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a problem. I've been quite lucky in the fact that I've become friends with a lot of people in the lightsaber community. I hate that term. But it's what it is.
It's what it is, yeah.
And I became really good friends with the company Padawan Outpost. They just live down the road from me, and I actually started working for them. So I worked for them for a year, like at the warehouse, sorting out sabers, fixing sabers, doing all bits and pieces like that. So I actually worked for them for a year. And so what I do is I actually borrow sabers from them to review and to have a proper breakdown for my channel. So it's very, very handy, and like, they're amazing for it. And they've always been really good. They're always just like, please be honest. If you don't like something, please say. Because I like to... There's a lot of this going on in the lightsaber reviewing thing. People get sent stuff for free. I get sent other stuff for free, but then people seem to think that they have to just say everything's amazing. Otherwise, they won't get more free stuff.
Correct.
And it's just like, I don't believe in that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be honest. And if they don't like the fact that I'm honest, don't send me anything else. And I'm fine with that, because I'm like, these are not cheap. Yeah? No. They're not cheap. It's not a cheap hobby to get into. So I wouldn't want someone to spend a lot of money on something that I don't think is great. So if I don't think it's great, I'm going to say, this isn't so great. Like, I won't absolutely trash something, but I'll say this could have been better, that could have been better. Everything done in a positive way, but there's always room for improvement of everything.
Yes.
And working with Padawan, they've always been very good about that, because they can actually then take that information and feed it back to Nexus, the company who makes them in China, and actually make things better. So it makes sense, to be honest, because then the next time we get new sabers in, they're getting just better and better and better and better. So it's just like, for me, that's the most important thing. And not to go off on too big a tangent, but I've actually just started a whole brand new company where I am actually making lightsaber parts myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called...
I need some Ahsoka ones, Jim.
Yeah, well, it's called the Fulcrum Forge, because, you know, I'm like, yeah, that just works. And if you've ever seen some of the sabers that you can take the parts off them and change them and make up your own saber.
Yes.
I'm making parts so that you can actually connect them to these sabers and change up the sabers. Oh, wow. So I'm doing emitters, I'm doing switches, grips, pommels. Like I've literally got some right here. Like that's a grip I've done, and like I wanted a Ventress style emitter, so I made that. I wanted a Jedi Survivor switch, so I made that. You know, so
I love it.
So good, so good. So I'm doing that as well now. So like, yeah, it's all very exciting stuff, and like it's crazy that I've kind of turned this sort of YouTube reviewing thing into a business.
And that's what you like, and that's amazing. Like, you found your hobby and you found what you like. I just see some good Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars lightsabers. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I want to do is I want to take elements of it, because I never want to make an entire saber that's already, because plenty of places make Ahsoka Tano ones. Yeah. But I want to make parts that are inspired by characters that I love, so that you can add them to your own personal saber.
Oh, okay.
So like, I've literally just made a switch that has a super on it, like Kanan's. So you can be like, okay, so I've got Kanan's part there, but I'm going to mix it up with like this different grip.
Like Ezra's or something.
Exactly. So you can fully make your own custom made with influences of characters that you know from the shows, and some stuff that obviously I've just come up with out of my brain, because that's what I do. I just sit and design. That's kind of, I just sit there and I'm like, oh, this would be a good idea. I make it, and then I go to the company that actually does all the metal manufacturing, and they're like, Jim, we can't do this. I'm like, okay, but what if we did this and this and this? They're like, yeah, fine. That's fine.
At this point, they're just saying yes to you, Jim.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. They're like, he's insane. We don't really know what these things are for, but he seems very excited about it.
Yes, and if he uses it for violence, you know, as long as he's excited for it.
Yeah, as long as he's happy, that's all that matters. But yeah, so basically what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to buy like one of these cores from, it's probably going to be Padawan Outpost, to be fair, and then all the parts literally like slide onto it, and then that was the wrong way around, and then the emitter goes on, and then it's ready to go.
Oh wow, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I don't have a homemade. I have the Disney ones, like the Clone Wars Disney ones.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka Tano, but everybody's like, Disney's okay. They're too like. I want like actual good ones, you know. Yeah, I want actual like. They feel like what Ahsoka Tano would use. Like if I was Ahsoka Tano, like her lightsabers, how would they feel? Would they feel heavy? Would they feel light? Because in the Clone Wars, you could see her just picking them up and swinging them like they're so light.
Yeah, no, so like I recently did a comparison video between Galaxy's Edge, Hasbro, KR sabers, which is like high-end saber, which is what that saber is, and then like the sort of entry level sabers that you can get, and I did a comparison of all of the different ones just to show people the differences between them. Not saying that any one is better than the other, it's just it's different choices. Like a lot of people love the Galaxy's Edge ones, and I understand why. For me, they're not close enough to being exact, so I'm like, I'll lean towards something else. But like, I like them. Like, I've been to Galaxy's Edge. I've looked through all of those. Even though I've got all of these, I'm still like, that looks nice.
Yeah, some of them do. Like, I have Ezra's, and I have
Nice.
Ahsoka's, and I have Cal's Kestis.
Nice.
So you said that your 3 favorite Jedi is Luke, Kanan, and Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. Why are they your favorites?
Luke, because Luke. Like, he was the first Jedi I really saw that wasn't Obi-Wan Kenobi, I suppose, and like with the green saber and Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film. So, and that's the Luke that I love. But to be fair, I'm a massive fan of the sequel trilogy. I know a lot of people seem to find that insane, but I love The Last Jedi. They might
come to your house now and throw rocks at you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't care. All right, bring it on. That version of Luke in Last Jedi, I identify with, and I think it's probably because I'm a little bit older now, and I see what he's been through, and I'm like, he feels like he's failed his sister, he feels like he's failed his best friend, and he feels like he's failed his nephew. So what does he do? He packs up everything and he goes and lives on an island. I'm like, I get that. I get that mentality.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Become an old man of the sea. Just like, I'm getting there, Yeah. So for me, like that, I really like that version of Luke. I know that's one of the most unpopular opinions in Star Wars, but I don't care. It's what I like, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So that's why Luke is always been that main character all the way through. Ahsoka, I mean, I mean, it's Ahsoka. She has one of the best story arcs ever in Star Wars.
It does.
Like, she's one of the only people that you've ever seen walk away from the Jedi Order and not turn to the dark side. And I think that speaks volumes of the character that she is. And that is also why I have her tattooed on my arm.
I know. I want to get a tattoo of her and then Ashley sign it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I want it like that.
So yeah, so on that arm I've got Ahsoka. On this arm I've got Luke's lightsaber, and it says "I'm a Jedi like my father before me." And then on my knuckles I've got Jedi and Sith in Arabesh, because I'm that far gone.
We can't turn you back. We can't turn you back.
Yeah. No, it's too far. And then Kanan, I think Kanan is one of the best Jedis that there ever was.
I know, Kanan.
The way he is as a Jedi, I think, and this kind of feeds into some of the stuff that we're seeing in Acolyte. I know that's another bad word that you're not allowed to say on the internet currently. In that the Jedi of that age and of that time, they're so full of themselves.
They are.
And so, like, we're the best. That's where they start to go wrong. And that's why something could come in the background and just wipe them out. Because they're so full of themselves.
Yeah, they're sensing it, but they're not sensing it what it really is.
They're like, it's fine. We're fine. We're the Jedi. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kanan is from that, not that era, but like of where the Jedi were kind of at their peak. And then disappeared, and you can see that he's learned there's a different way to be a Jedi, and so he is very much on the sort of same level as almost Qui-Gon, in that they're Jedis, but they're Jedis adjacent. They don't exactly follow the rules, and for him to train Ezra in the way that he does, and even to help Sabine in the way that he does. And the fact that you see that he is able to unlike standard Jedi that aren't allowed attachments, obviously he's got a partner and he's created a family. And like, I just think he's an incredible character and one of the best Jedis that's ever Jedi'd.
Yeah, and I think him and Ahsoka are examples, and Qui-Gon are examples of what the Jedi should have been.
Yes.
Like they were all caught up in these politics and not in tune with the Force, because even with Qui-Gon could have stopped Order 66, Revenge of the Sith, he could have stopped all that in episode 1 if he really wanted to. You know, he was on the Sidious' lead, and then when Darth Maul killed him, you know, that's okay. We go back to we go back to normal. You know.
Yeah. It's fine. We'll just keep that on the hush.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that in the Acolyte as well. They're like, something's going on, and they're like, don't tell anybody. We're not allowed to tell anybody. We've got to keep this on the down low. And it's just like, that's a mistake.
Yeah, like who are you keeping on the download for the world? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna get destroyed, and the world is not even gonna care about you. What happened to Order 66? Everybody was so happy the Jedi got wiped out until months later, until the Empire was wiping your towns out. You know what I mean? So I don't know why like the Jedi are so prideful, and it's like even with Master Soul, to me in the Acolyte, and we can get into the Acolyte if you like. We don't have to. Like you could see like the Jedi, they're so full of themselves, and whatever happened on that planet with the 2 twin sisters, there's more to that than just
100%.
Like, and he even said, I'll tell you everything when we get back to the ship. But why didn't you tell anything after what happened? That was years ago. Those girls were like maybe 6 or 7 or 8. May and Osha is like, in that time I could say 16, 17, 18 maybe. You know, that's 10 years. Like, what happened when you came back? Oh, we just hug her. Let's train now. You could be my Padawan. Yay, let's do it. And then you know that the sister is alive. Like, you know.
And you've just gone and created all your own problems.
Yeah, like, the Jedi created the problems with Order 66, because even in the Clone Wars, we see some episodes like, bro, I guess it was just a malfunction. We'll keep an eye on it.
Really?
Really? Like, even with Fives was like, there's something wrong. And everybody's like, bro, you're crazy. Like, you're out of your mind. Like, and then when he's in the council with Sidious, and you think he's gonna hurt 10 guards that were in that room, really? And he had no gun.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna shoot 10 men down that have guns, and a Sith Lord right there, and he knew it was him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, come on, Star Wars. Like, make that make sense. Like, even I'm talking to you, and it feels like I'm yelling at you and angry at you, and it's not. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. How are you gonna sit there with a little girl and say everything's gonna be okay? You know, your sister died. You know,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. You know, you got your lift. You'll maybe see her up in heaven or wherever they go. You know, we burn the bodies. And you know what? Your twin sister's dead. You know, you could be my Padawan though. Like,
yeah. And all he ever keeps saying is, "Oh, you just need to forget about it." And it's like, no.
And like, can't you sense each other? Like, even with, like, a perfect example with when Ahsoka, she left the Order, and in that final season, when she goes up in the ship with the sisters and Martez sisters, Anakin can feel her.
Yeah.
They can feel each other. And it's like, and the guy's like, sir, what do we do? Do we shoot it down? What do we do? And Anakin's like, no, let him through. And he knows it's Ahsoka. He still can sense her, even if she's cut off with the Force, you know? And I think that was going into like Rebels too, like Ahsoka cut herself out from the Force. You know, she didn't want any. That's why she says, "I'm no Jedi." Then in Ahsoka, she becomes a Jedi. You know, whatever happened in that time frame that she says, "You know what? I'm going to be a Jedi again." She's welcomed back. You know, and just like we see in Ahsoka with Anakin and his final lessons to her, but it looks like he's coming back, Hayden, to reprise his role as Anakin. So we'll see more of that. It should be good. But yeah, like, what are you people doing with your lives?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Jedi just seem to just ignore a lot of things and just it feels like they just hope things are going to go away.
Yeah, it's like pushing things under the rug. Like, okay, we'll clean that later. You know, we'll clean that dirty pot later, and it gets filled with like mold or more dirt. And it's like, oh, why didn't I think that 4 days ago?
And then they seem surprised when it comes back.
And the Sith Lord, like, oh, I think they have a master, but we can't find him. Well, go out in your little ship, search the planet. You know where the sister's going. Like, search the planet. And I felt so bad for the Wookiee. I really wanted to get to know the Wookiee.
Yeah,
Wookiee
me
Jedi.
too.
Like, I really wanted to, like, see what he's about. Like, oh, let's see his skills. And so, he got sliced in half. He got sliced right here. Really?
I think we're going to get some more flashback. I don't think they're going to. So for the next episode, I don't think they're going to jump back to exactly where we are now.
They'll probably jump back at the end.
They're going to tease that a little bit further, but I think we're going to get more backstory, which is fine. Like, I'm enjoying The Acolyte. I know people seem to have a problem with it. I don't really understand why. Is it the best Star Wars? No, there's better Star Wars. Is it the worst thing I've ever seen in my life? No, I've seen a lot worse. And you know what? If you're not enjoying it, that's okay. Just don't watch it.
Yeah. Like I said to you before the show, like, live action, I'm really not a fan of. You know, and everybody on this show has watched this show or is on the guest. And I say I'm not a big live action fan. Like, people love it. You know, they love the skills. I'm more of an animation because Ahsoka was animation first.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I fell in love with Ahsoka and Ashley, what she did with that character. And even Anakin. I really didn't like Hayden Christensen. Like, I really wasn't a fan of Hayden's. Like, I felt like when I watched the movies, you know, when you don't have the Clone Wars, when you don't have that in between, it's like, how could he fall to the dark side? How could Anakin fall to the dark side so fast? Like, what?
This is one thing I've always said about the prequels. Like, and I'm not going to hate the prequel. I'm not going to hate on the prequels. Not at all. They're good, right? Without the now 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, you miss a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And the 7-season Clone Wars makes the prequel films better.
Yeah.
Hands down, right?
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to have 7 seasons of a show in between 2 films to make the films better. That's not how that should work.
Yes.
You know?
Correct.
So for me, like, I'm the same. Like, Clone Wars really helped me figure out Anakin.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, I understand it now, because if you just watch the films and don't watch Clone Wars, he goes from being a bit moody to killing a bunch of Tusken Raiders. Then he's a bit more moody, and then he's now Darth Vader. And it just seems like a big, like, quick
jump. And I didn't understand that. And when I watched it at such a young age, I didn't understand at that time. But as I got older, I was like, and I watched it again because that's my favorite. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie. And it's like, what? Like, I even said that. I was like, how is he Darth Vader? Like, how did his fall go from a little boy to a little angry girl teenager? You know, because he got moody every 10 minutes throughout the movie. Like, I killed them all. They killed my mother. All right. Okay, we're upset about that. That's not a big fall to the dark side, you know. But Qui-Gon was that father figure. No, he died. But in reality, Anakin didn't get to witness that.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't witness that death. He only saw him at the funeral, you know. And then Revenge of the Sith, you watch it, and it's like, okay, he's getting manipulated, definitely. And he's believing it. And, okay, you could see the manipulation, but to chop Mace Windu's hand off, the Sith Lord that's going to kill everybody, like, you're really going to defend that man? Like,
yeah, because in the same film, he turns around and he goes, "You're a Sith Lord," and then he goes to Mace to report him, and then 2 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, all right, fine, I'll just be you."
Yeah, let me chop your hand off, Mace. I didn't like you anyway. You were an asshole. You know,
like, so there are things like that I'm like, I'm thankful that the Clone Wars exist, and you can see that character development through Anakin.
Yes, and what Matt Lanter did with that, he'll always be my Anakin. Like, Matt Lanter, I love him so much. And I love him in other shows too. But what he did with Anakin, even with Obi-Wan too, you know, like, you don't have an Obi-Wan without the Clone Wars Obi-Wan. You know, even with Rebels, like, we see him in the old movies, like the New Hope and stuff like that. We see him maybe for like 10, 15 minutes in that movie, maybe a half hour tops, that's it. And he tells Luke about so-and-so and about Darth Vader, how he killed your father or stuff like that. And then we get a Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi. Okay, that we've seen once. And then if you don't have Obi-Wan animation, you don't know, okay, he's the Padawan of Qui-Gon. Okay, and Master of Anakin. Okay. And then about the master thing, I don't want to get into the master thing because I think we'll be sitting here for 2 hours. How are you ranked master if he has a Padawan? And Ahsoka was calling Anakin master. And I get this on my show all the time, big paragraphs about this and that. And I'm like, I understand what you people are saying. I get it. But why are you not on the council if you're not a master? You know, and Anakin's a master, so let him be on the council. But I really think in that time, Mace just didn't like Anakin.
Oh, for sure.
It was. Sure. I don't think it was even being master or how am I ranked master and I can't be on the council. You know, and it's like there's so many people on the council. Even if we see in the Acolyte, I think they mentioned something about the council. Like there's so many members. They're sitting down. Like okay, so we have a round table of masters. Okay. But Anakin's a master, so why are we not putting him? And that was a big issue with the prequels too. Like, what? And then people didn't understand that. And then you get Clone Wars. Oh, okay. Now we get that. Yeah. You know? And then it's like, what are we doing with our lives? What are we even like? And Star Wars, I don't know if you can agree, Jim, but Star Wars is ass backwards. And I mean that they do stuff in the front. Like, they'll throw you Order 66. Like they did, Revenge of the Sith. They threw Order 66 at us. What in name's Jesus Christ? In 2000, when did the movie come out? 2005, 2006? Yeah. Revenge of the Sith? Order 66, and these clones are murking all the Jedi. We know, and we're like sitting there, what? What are you people doing? And then you get the Clone Wars. Okay, clones, Captain Rex. We didn't see him in the movies. Okay, Cody. Cody has a personality. Okay, Commander Gree. Oh, that's Yoda's commander. Okay, Mace's commander. D. Bradley Baker. Thank you. One hell of a performance. I love D. Bradley Baker. One of my idols. One of my role models. Hey, and Ashley and Matt too. And James too. Look what they did. And you're sitting here watching these movies, and I know a lot of people don't watch the animations.
Yeah,
they don't.
No, for sure.
And they just watch the movies or they watch the live action shows. But I tell people, you can understand, you could talk to me till you're blue in the face. I'll get your opinion. But you're not going to sit in my face and tell me, oh, I can't watch the animation. That's kiddish. But that's half of the story. If your favorite character is Anakin Skywalker, how are you knowing his story? Oh, I watched it on YouTube. No. I could sit here and tell you a whole monologue of season 1 through 7. Yeah, and you're still going to go, oh, but you missed out on that part. Oh, I watched it, but Chris, you didn't get that. Jim, no, that's not what you said. Like, even Tales of the Jedi. We're forgetting that one, too. And her story with Anakin and her leading up to the Siege of Mandalore and where she is at the end of season 7. You know, even with Barriss, you know, I'm a big fan of Barriss Offee. You know, I've grown to love her. You know, is she an evil character? No. You know, she's a misunderstood character. Yes. You know, and I love what they did with her in Tales of the Empire and Morgan Elsbeth. You know, I loved all that. People hated it.
I enjoyed it. Was it as good as Tales of the Jedi? I don't think so. But it was still great.
Yeah.
Like that whole Barriss Offee stuff I thought was great. I would have been okay had they done a Barriss Offee just for 6 episodes. Yes. Like the Morgan Elsbeth I enjoyed, but I was like, I kind of already got her character from what's happening in Ahsoka. It was really cool to see Grievous again in that animation style because he looked incredible.
He did.
But I'm like, that Barriss Offee story of where she goes from there could have been elongated nicely and we could have got some real deep dives in there, but I appreciate what they did with it. And you know, and with Tales of the Jedi we got stuff with Dooku and Yaddle and you know, things that you don't see otherwise. And so for me, my favorite animated show is Rebels. Right? I love Rebels. I love Rebels.
And you know, people hate Rebels. Like it's like the dirt, I genuinely don't know them. And I'm like, how? I know the animation's different. Give it a chance. Like in the beginning, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, oh, I don't like this like 3D, 2D animation stuff. But then I'm not worried about the animation. I'm worried about the characters, you know. And I'm a big fan. And one of my favorite characters is Ezra. And what in Rebels was Ezra is I love the whole space crew. Like I love the whole space mom, Hera, Sabine. Sabine's my favorite Mandalorian from that. Like I never had a favorite Mandalorian, and she was it because what she brought to that show. In live action, I'm not a fan of her live action. I'm not how they went with that Jedi training as a Jedi, how she has the Force. You know, I don't get onto that topic because I really don't. That's that's not what I wanted for Sabine. You know, I wanted her to do something else. Maybe
but you see this, but this is key, right? This is key right here. Like you're like, it's not really my thing. Cool. That's fine. Yeah, and you just leave it there, and it's just that's not what I would have done personally. Yeah, I would have probably done this, and maybe I've done that.
I would have done things different. You know,
for me, I love the sequels, but even then, I'm like, they're not perfect, and there's plenty of other things that I would have done had I done it. But I wasn't the writer, I wasn't the director. I'm just some schlub watching television.
I was the one that ate 2 bags of popcorn.
And I'm just like, what they did was quite
impressive. Rey Skywalker, and when he said to the lady, I'm Rey Skywalker, everybody threw their drinks and popcorn. You're still sitting there eating it.
Oh yeah, I was loving it. I'm like, yep. Because this entire film series is about being adopted. So yes, that makes sense to me.
And I'm not a fan of the sequels, you know, and that's okay. That's you know, like you're a fan of it. I'm not. But we just keep it moving. Like I said with Sabine, like I would have done things a lot differently. Like I think I would have put her in Tales of the Jedi first and have that connection because we don't know what happened. And that's what I mean with ass backwards with Star Wars. How are you going to tell us in one story she's a Jedi, has the Force, and it's like make it make sense. And I know they're going to go back or flashbacks or stuff like that, but we don't want to see that. We want to see what's going on now in the world. Yeah. You know, we don't want to
give us linear for a change. Just something linear. Because
don't give us the flashback.
We've spent so much time in the Skywalker saga with everything being crowbarred in. Like, let's start with Ahsoka. Like, as a character, never once mentioned in any movie ever, but becomes one of the most pivotal characters in the whole of, in my opinion, the whole of everything, right? Because she is there in the prequels. She's technically there in the original trilogy because I class Rebels as part of the original trilogy.
Yes, and she was there at Padme's funeral at the end of her
ministry. Exactly. And she's there coming up to sequel time because we've seen her in her own show following that path. So I'm like, that's when things are really done nicely, is when they can do that. But then I do honestly think like they're doing it too much now. And I'm like, leave it alone. Now we've seen that. Leave that timeline. But then they do. They go, okay, we're going to leave that alone and we're going to go 100 years back and then no one likes it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's like, are we pleased? Like, I'm happy. Like, I'm not I want to read the High Republic books, but there's so many books and comics. And I'm like, where do I even begin? Because I used to read them and I was like, oh, there's no people I know in here. You know, there's all new people, like Yoda's in there. He's not new, but he's still in there. And I'm like, okay, I'll get into it. And I never got into it really. But now I'm watching The Acolyte. I'm like, I want to get into the books.
Me too. I've got a few of them, but I just haven't read them because they're the same thing. Too. And I'm like,
let me read them. Let's read some comics, you know? Like, people were saying about The Acolyte yesterday, Ki-Adi-Mundi was in The Acolyte. And people were like, why is he in there? Like, but he knows there's nothing. Like, it's like so weird. Like, how is he even here? You know? Even Plo Koon, we thought that was Plo Koon, but it's a different job.
It's a different job.
But is that Ki-Adi-Mundi? And someone said it in the...
It's in the credits. I watched it specifically for that. So I was like, is it? Because technically he's not supposed to exist. Yeah. He's not supposed to be born for another 40 years. But with the amount of things that get changed constantly, I mean, let's take for the simple fact that when the prequels were made, everything was George Lucas's baby, right? And there were books. And I've read all the expanded universe books. I've read up until 40 years past Return of the Jedi. You know, I've been there with the Solo kids and the Skywalker kids and everything that went on with them. And that got just put to the side. You know, they're like, this isn't canon anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, it doesn't stop it existing.
Yes.
Like, I love that. And in my head, I'm like, I would have loved to have seen them do that. But they've done this. Okay, that's fine. And they're doing it again. They're just going, we know that was kind of canon, but at the same time, it wasn't technically our canon. So we're just going to change it around a bit. What's the problem?
Yeah, people are.
None of this is real.
We're not real. This is not real. We will not go to Coruscant and find these people.
These are fictional characters. Okay.
Yes, they are our role models, of course, but we are not them. You are not them. You know, and so I think
just chill out.
Yeah, people are really hating the Acolyte, and I feel like, and I don't even get into any of that because it's like I don't hate it, and I keep my comments to myself, or I say it on the show of how I feel, and I'm not gonna write to like Leslie, the director of the show, and go to her house and have death threats to her. What they did to that poor Reva, Moses Ingram, what they did to her was terrible.
Awful. Like
DMs and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this what we've become? Like, is this like Star Wars? Yes, it's not for everybody. It's not. We're gonna like some stuff. We're gonna not like some stuff. But I'm not gonna sit here for 2 hours and tell you the Acolyte sucks. And you were listening to me for 2 hours and you go, Chris, I really don't care about your opinion. You know, like, I didn't even ask. You just started. You know
just
what I mean?
Went on and I just couldn't stop you.
Like, yeah. Like mine is not live action. Yours might be. Like we said, we're not going to hate each other because we don't like something. And it's okay not to like it because Star Wars is for kids.
Ultimately, it is
it's for kids. You know, we're grown adults. Are we really going to sit in a movie there, me and Jim, 25, and you're 44, you said?
45.
45. We're going to sit there and argue of why Rey is a Skywalker.
Yeah.
And she is a Palpatine. She is a Palpatine. She ain't no Skywalker. We know that. We know this. So why are we going to sit there and argue of why Rey Skywalker is a Skywalker? I'm going to curse. Motherfucker, are you an idiot? Like,
just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine. She could be a unicorn.
Yeah, she could be a Kenobi if she wanted to.
She can be a Tano. I don't know if Soja had any kids, but
hey, be whatever you want.
Be whatever you
Doesn't
want.
matter.
Like, it's not what I would have went. Ray Skywalker. No. But it's what Kathleen Kennedy, the director of that film, George Lucas, because George Lucas, I feel like, is overseeing some stuff. And in reality, if he didn't like it, that's cut. You know, what would have been the sequels would have been all the Jedi lined up and they're helping Rey fight Palpatine. That would have been a great ending. But we didn't get that. She's all the Jedi of what she says. She's heard some Jedi through her head, through the Force.
And that was cool.
And that was great. Like, I even went back to see who she hears. You know,
yeah, see every single one of them. Yeah.
Mace,
Kanan.
Yoda, Kanan. Not Ezra, though. I was very surprised. I didn't hear Ezra.
Yeah. Well, it's because I don't want to get into theories.
He's Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, exactly. It was either that or Lando. So
Orlando, yeah. So he's out doing other things.
Yeah, but I don't know. The other thing I will say is just like, you know what? Whilst not everything in Star Wars is for everyone,
correct.
There's still enough different parts that everyone can enjoy bits.
Yes.
So it's just like, just enjoy the bits that you enjoy. And just don't watch the other bits. Don't take it so seriously. Like, and I'm a 45-year-old man. I have 40 plus lightsabers in my collection. I have over 120 Lego Star Wars sets. Right? My entire life is Star Wars. Even I'm like, don't worry about it. it's not everything. You know, let's not worry about these tiny little ins and outs. Well, you said that it was this, and that breaks canon. Don't worry about it. Like, they might explain it. They may not. It's a story. It's entertainment. And if you're not enjoying the entertainment, turn it off.
Yeah. Why do you have to watch all 6 episodes to get the views on it? And you don't like it? Like, even with the Barris Offee one, like, she became a healer. And yes, in her book, in Legends, she becomes a healer. And that's why she's so old, and she's using her ability to heal people, and she's draining herself. That's fantastic. Whatever happened, if she dies, I don't want her to die that way. But if she's gone, you know, I would be upset about that. But we really don't know if she's gone. You know, in Star Wars, no one's ever truly gone. In Star Wars.
Well, this is it. No one's ever truly gone. And also, they did the same thing with the Ahsoka book.
Yes.
Like, I love the Ahsoka book.
I do too.
I think it's fantastic, and I love like that whole element of her and the Inquisitors, and that's how she gets her white lightsabers, and I love it. And they went, this isn't canon anymore. That was their own canon that they decided to remove from canon. It's just like, don't worry about it. Like, things change. Just different ideas. So what if?
And it's an Ahsoka book, and me and you Ahsoka fans will always remember that book. I'll mention it on my show, or a phrase she says in the book. Yeah, it's not canon, but that did happen. Yeah. Like, she did bleed her crystals white. You know, we don't see it physically on the show, but we know after she killed that 6th brother Inquisitor, she got her lightsaber because she joined the rebellion. She joined Bail Organa. So it's like, really? Like, do we have to sit here and argue?
Yeah. It's a character that's not supposed to be born for another 40 years. They've decided that he's 200 years old.
Yeah.
Why does that break everything?
It does. It will break. Why is Kiadi's head too big? Why is it not smaller?
Yeah. Oh, measurements are off on that.
Yeah. Oh, her headpiece in live action. Do you think Rosario Dawson is gonna wear a Shock T headpiece that's all the way down to her knees? That headpiece, she'll collapse.
Yeah.
She couldn't even move.
Well, this is it. Like, when she first came out, and I was like, her montrals are a bit wrong. I'm like,
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
And I was like, yeah, that's the problem. Like, but you have to. She's live action. If she was
it's
animation,
an interpretation.
Yeah, you could have did it as long as you want in animation. Yeah. Because you could do more, and that's why I love animation, because you could do more. And
they did. And they had that episode in Clone Wars when she was old and they was like super, super long.
Yeah. And you're talking about why is her headpiece so small? It's like this.
Yeah.
You put it on.
It's practical.
You go put it on and see how heavy that piece is. And then they made it a little bigger. They added some, but still, you don't think she was sweating in that thing?
Oh, 100%.
You know, you don't think she was
doing stuff as well. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, like, come on, people. Like, and then you think as the series goes on and how many seasons they ever go, you think it's gonna get longer and longer. No way. Whatever we saw in Ahsoka season 1,
that's how it's gonna stay.
That's how it's gonna stay. If they do an animation, if they end it off in animation, I would love that, because Ashley, Ashley deserves to. If Ahsoka dies, Ashley is the one to.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I stand by that. That's the only thing I'll fight people on is Ashley gave 12 years of that show, Rebels, Tales of the Jedi. She is Ahsoka to me. You know, Rosario does a great job. Rosario does a good job. Great job. But
Ashley is Ahsoka.
Yes. And that's the only thing I'll fight people on if they say, oh, well, no. Ashley deserves it. She's put in the time, the work, the dedication, the fans. She embodies Ahsoka Tano. Rosario, she really doesn't post about Ahsoka much. You know, she has other things to do with her time. You know, she's not.
And that's fine.
And that's fine.
She's an actor. That's
she's an actress. You know, she has time. She doesn't have time to hear me and Jim talk. Maybe one day. Maybe she comes sit and talk to us.
That'd be nice.
But Ashley, you know, I love her so much. But yeah, like it's just crazy, Jim. It really is crazy.
It is crazy. But hopefully, you know, with us being this way, we can kind of put a little bit more positivity out there and just
they'll probably hate us for it.
Oh, 100%. But I'm fine with that. I'm like, listen, don't worry about it. It's fine. Hate me all you want. But I like to enjoy what I watch. And I'm not going to sit there and pull it to fine pieces because it's not exactly what I had in my head. It's just like...
Correct.
Can we... Let's step back from the ledge and just look at this as what it is. Yeah. It's a TV show. It's movies. It's cartoons. Like, it's supposed to be there for enjoyment. And the minute you stop enjoying it, leave it alone.
I just thought about, Jim, too? It's like when they released the names of these shows, like The Acolyte or Skeleton Crew, everybody's like, oh my God! But you're the same person that is tweeting about it, hating about it. You're sitting there watching the trailer. And to me, I don't like when critics watch the show before real fans, because the critics know nothing. Yeah. No, they know nothing. But if Star Wars YouTubers do it, Star Wars like Explain and stuff like that, they do the show, or like me and you, we watch the episodes before they air and we give our honest opinion. Why do you give it to critics? And they say, oh, these episodes, you've never seen anything in Star Wars like this. And we watch the episode, what are you even talking about? Yeah. Like, what? Even with Bad Batch, when they came out with the reviews with Bad Batch, I was like, oh, this is going to be the last season. It was great. Phenomenal last season. I enjoyed it. But were those critics, like, really blowing out of proportion? Absolutely. Like, you're telling me, like, Jabba the Hutt comes and flies through the sky. Oh, my, you're, like, saying things like that. Like, it's not like that. Even with The Acolyte, these are the best 3 episodes. I saw episode 1 through 5. Oh, my God, guys. You're going to love it. But you know nothing. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're telling us good things because you have to say it. You're not going to tell us what's negative about it.
No, because you don't get paid to do that.
Because, you don't get paid for that. But I'm here. I'm going to tell you what I didn't like. And you watch it, because I did. I watched 5 episodes. Just say that. I watched 5 episodes. I watched the whole Tales of the Empire before it came out. I loved it. Great. When I tell you in that tweet, this could have gone something better, but and that's what I don't like. I don't like, yay, the Skeleton Crew's coming and everybody's bashing Skeleton Crew. Like, and we don't know nothing about that show. We just know there's kids and a Jedi.
I've seen the trailer.
Oh, you've seen the trailer?
Yeah, I was at Celebration. Celebration, we got an extended Acolyte trailer and we got an extended Skeleton Crew trailer. And they all came out on the stage and stuff. I was in the main stage when, like, it was the Lucasfilm panel. It was, like, the most amazing time because we got to see, like, everything. We got to see all of the new stuff. And that was when they had Daisy Ridley walk on stage as well and say, it's going to be a Rey film. And I was, like, so excited. So I've seen a bit of the Skeleton Crew and it looks good. Like, it's not going to be what people think it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be the best way I could describe it from the trailer, Goonies in space.
Oh, okay. I like the Goonies too.
Me too. So I was just like, I enjoyed it. Like it's definitely aimed at a younger audience, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I think that brings in new eyes, fresh eyes.
Yes.
That aren't bitter.
Yeah.
Because that's that's what we need is new eyes to see it. Like I've got kids. Well, I say kids. Like my eldest son is 18, so he's an adult. But their first experience with Star Wars, watching Star Wars in the cinema, was the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
that's their trilogy. Like, and they love it. Too. Yeah, they love it because they're like, this is ours, and like mine was the original trilogy, and it seems to me the people that are the angriest at the moment are the people that grew up with the prequel trilogy. They seem to be unhappy about everything. Us that grew up with the original trilogy, we've gotten to the point where we're like,
we'll take it.
Yeah, this Star Wars. Listen, we were deprived for such a long time, and then given Phantom Menace, we we know that it's not always going to be great, right? But we accept that and we move on, and we're like, yeah, whatever. Some stuff will be for us, some stuff won't. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't listen to critics at all. Like, I don't care about some Rotten Tomatoes score. You know what I care about? I care about when the episode finishes, do I turn to my fiance and go, I really enjoyed that? Or, that was weird. I thought they would have done this. You know what I mean? That's what's important to me, is I wake up on a Wednesday morning and I get to watch Star Wars. Like, we're in a time of so much Star Wars, and we're also in a time where everything has to be a 10 out of 10. If it's not 10 out of 10, it's the worst thing ever made. And Disney doesn't know what they're doing with Star Wars. And to those people that say that Disney don't know what they're doing with Star Wars, sure, they may have missed some steps, but they have also given us Rebels. They've given us Season 7 of Clone Wars. They've given us Mando. You know, like, it's not all bad. Like, they've given us Tales of the Jedi. They've given us Tales of the Empire.
They're giving us more. We need Tales of the Jedi Season 2 that's coming out. Oh. And we haven't got that yet, so it's coming out. So
I want Tales of the Sith, and then I want Tales of the Bounty Hunter.
Tales of the Clones.
Yeah. I mean, some would argue that we got that with the Clone Wars.
Oh, yes. So we don't need their story. We need that guy's story.
Yeah. We need some random guy's story from, like, I don't know, Kashyyyk's outer moon.
Yeah.
You know?
The Rebel Moon.
Yeah. So people just don't worry about it. It's just fun. And if you can't find fun in it, maybe step away for a bit. Just stop going on the internet and moaning at the director, the actors, everybody that will listen to you. Just don't worry about it.
And it's not. And they're at these premieres too, and they're like, "Oh my God, we love you," and you're bashing it online.
Yeah. Hey.
Jim. Well, Jim, I think that's all we can do for now. That's all.
Right.
Really, it is. Yeah. But Jim, we have to end the show. It was great having you on the show.
I enjoyed this. It was just fun.
It was fun. You're welcome back any time on my show.
Hey, anytime you want me, just let me know. I'll be there.
I will, and especially in the time difference because you're in the UK.
Yeah.
But before we go, where can everybody find you on the social medias?
Okay, so on YouTube, find me Fulcrum and the Force. On Instagram, at Fulcrum Force. And if you want to follow my new business, it's at the Fulcrum Forge, where you can. I've already posted some pictures of the lightsaber parts that I've done, and there's lots to come with that. Literally, within the next 2 weeks, there's going to be loads of stuff coming from that. So it's all fulcruming up in this bitch,
up in that forge.
Forge. Yeah.
I will put all the links in the bio, so go support Jim. And thank you for watching the Scevoli Tonight Show, guys. Be sure to subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, the Scevoli Show, for more awesomeness, guys.
Do it.
More me. And that's it, really. But be kind to one another, guys, and may the fools be with you, my friends. Always. Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.